What I'm about to share with you is nothing short of groundbreaking, potentially the most important discovery in the history of astronomy and possibly in the entire span of human civilization. Just 3 days ago, on November 17th at precisely 2:14 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time, the James Webb Space Telescope completed an extraordinary 72-hour observation sequence of the celestial object known as 3IATLAS. This was done using its highly sensitive near-infrared spectrograph and mid-infrared instruments, and the data collected from this observation has been thoroughly analyzed by teams at NASA Goddard, the Space Telescope Science Institute, and independent researchers from 7 prestigious universities around the world. What this data reveals is so extraordinary, so fundamentally reality-altering, that I've spent the last 48 hours in emergency consultations with my colleagues, trying to find any alternative explanation that could dispute the conclusions we're now facing. And so far, none of us has been able to find one. The spectroscopic signatures, the thermal patterns, the chemical markers, and the incredibly organized complexity we're detecting within 3IATLAS defy explanation through any natural, geological, chemical, or physical process we currently understand. What we are observing is something that clearly exhibits every signature we associate with biological activity. This is not just primitive microbial life, nor is it simple organic chemistry. It goes far beyond that. What we are detecting is an incredibly complex, organized system that suggests advanced metabolic processes, information processing, and coordinated responses to environmental stimuli. In other words, we have detected what appears to be life inside 3IATLAS. And what's more, this living system is housed within an object that is currently located at just under 0.89 astronomical units from Earth, steadily approaching us at a velocity that will bring it within the lunar orbital distance in approximately 47 days. Now, let me explain exactly what the James Webb Space Telescope detected, because the details of this matter immensely, and it's crucial that you understand this isn't some speculative theory. This is direct observational data revealing phenomena that, after extensive analysis, can only be interpreted in one way. The observation sequence that the James Webb Telescope performed on 3IATLAS used multiple instruments working in tandem. The near-infrared spectrograph measured both reflected and emitted light across wavelengths ranging from 0.6 to 5.3 micrometers, while the MIRI mid-infrared instrument captured the thermal signatures across a range of 5 to 28 micrometers. Additionally, the NIRCam imaging system provided high-resolution visual documentation across several wavelength bands. What sets the James Webb Space Telescope apart from other instruments is its extraordinary sensitivity and the spectral resolution it possesses.
We are not merely detecting the presence of certain molecules. We are measuring their specific abundances, spatial distribution, temperature, chemical states, and how these properties evolve over time. The telescope observed 3IATLAS continuously for 72 hours, recording spectroscopic data every 20 minutes. In total, this observation resulted in 216 complete sets of data, tracking how the object's chemical and thermal signatures evolved during that period. The first anomaly appeared immediately in the early stages of data reduction. The spectroscopic signature showed distinct absorption and emission lines, indicating the presence of complex organic molecules, far more sophisticated than simple organics like methane or carbon dioxide. These molecules contain carbon chains ranging from 20 to 40 atoms long, cyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, nitrogen-containing heterocycles, phosphorus compounds, and sulfur compounds. These are the very building blocks of life as we understand it. On Earth, such complex molecules are almost exclusively produced by biological processes. While it is not unprecedented to find organic molecules in space, meteorites, comets, and even moons like Titan have yielded similar compounds. The molecules detected on 3IATLAS are different in several key ways. First, the abundance ratios of these molecules don't align with what we typically observe in non-biological organic chemistry. The relative concentrations of different molecular species follow patterns that are found on Earth only in biological systems, where metabolism regulates chemical pathways to maintain specific ratios. Second, the complexity of the molecules is far too high for random, non-biological formation. Organic molecules in space typically form via radiation-driven chemistry that acts on simpler precursors over millions of years. This process creates a predictable distribution, where simpler molecules dominate and complex ones appear less frequently. The molecular distribution on 3IATLAS, however, defies this pattern. We're seeing high concentrations of very complex molecules without the expected abundance of simpler precursors. This suggests that these molecules were synthesized through directed chemical assembly, not random accumulation. But perhaps the most intriguing and most unsettling discovery is the evidence of molecular chirality. Many organic molecules can exist in two mirror image forms, known as enantiomers, much like left and right hands. In non-biological chemistry, both forms are typically found in equal measure, as there is no reason for nature to favor one over the other. However, biological systems, whether on Earth or elsewhere, tend to select one form over the other. For example, all amino acids on Earth are left-handed, and sugars and DNA are right-handed. This phenomenon, known as homochirality, is a universal signature of life.
The spectroscopic data from 3IATLAS shows a pronounced chirality in the detected organic molecules. Approximately 85% of one enantiomeric form and only 15% of its mirror image. This degree of enantiomeric excess doesn't occur naturally in non-biological systems. It requires selective synthesis, a process that biologically based chemistry employs to preferentially create one form while suppressing the other. Dr. Jennifer Chen, an expert in astrobiology and prebiotic chemistry at Caltech, has been deeply involved in analyzing the spectroscopic data from 3IATLAS. Her assessment is unequivocal. The molecular signatures detected within the object are consistent with active biochemistry, not just prebiotic chemistry or organic molecules formed through radiation. What we are seeing are molecules that suggest metabolism, information storage, and possibly even cellular structures, clear signs of life. But the molecular evidence is just the beginning of what we have uncovered. The thermal imaging data from MIRI reveals even more compelling patterns. The thermal data gathered from the MIRI instrument adds another layer of intrigue to this already puzzling discovery. What is particularly striking about the thermal signatures of 3IATLAS is the presence of localized hotspots on its surface, thermal anomalies that have persisted and grown in intensity since the object passed its perihelion. These hotspots are not randomly distributed across the surface of 3IATLAS, but instead form distinct, interconnected clusters. When the data was mapped with the resolution provided by the James Webb Space Telescope, it became clear that these clusters are not merely geological features, they suggest organized activity, with areas of higher heat radiating from specific locations. What makes this even more remarkable is the consistency of these hotspots. The areas where they occur are regularly spaced across the object's surface, forming a network that is eerily similar to the way heat is distributed in living organisms, or even in human-made systems like cities or machines. If you look at the surface of 3IATLAS through the lens of the thermal data, you could almost detect an underlying structure, a set of pathways that interconnect the hotspots, resembling a network of veins or arteries that transport energy or resources.
The temperature of these hotspots ranges from approximately 295 to 318 Kelvin, well within the expected range for biological processes, where localized heating is often associated with metabolic or other forms of activity. But what truly sets these hotspots apart is their behavior over time. The changes in temperature are not uniform. Some of the hotspots exhibit periodic fluctuations, increasing in intensity over short intervals, then subsiding again, as though they are responding to stimuli or inputs.
This level of activity is not random. It points to some form of coordination, suggesting that these regions may be processing energy, exchanging information, or even communicating with one another in a highly organized manner. This observation points toward the possibility that 3IATLAS could harbor an active, dynamic system within it. The idea that the surface of an interstellar object could be operating like the cellular network of a living organism or the electrical systems of a complex machine is both thrilling and unsettling. As scientists, we have long wondered what extraterrestrial life might look like, and whether it could resemble life on Earth or if it would defy all our expectations. The presence of these heat patterns gives us our first clues that we may be dealing with something far more complex than previously imagined. Dr. Robert Martinez, a leading researcher in complex systems theory at MIT, has applied network theory to the thermal data. By treating each hotspot as a node in a network and examining how they communicate with one another, he found striking similarities to the small world networks found in neural systems, social networks, and even ecosystems on Earth. In fact, the way the hotspots increase and decrease in synchrony suggests that there is a level of coordination, almost as if they are sharing energy or transmitting signals between them. If this pattern is intentional, it implies that the system within 3IATLAS could be communicating or exchanging information in a way that is beyond our current understanding of interstellar phenomena. Dr. Martinez's findings raise a critical question. Are we witnessing the early stages of a biological or technological system that functions as a collective intelligence? Or are we observing a form of life with a completely different structure, one that operates according to principles we have not yet uncovered? Regardless of the answer, the data suggests that the surface of 3IATLAS is far from inert. It is active, organized, and potentially complex in a way that we have not anticipated. Adding to the complexity is the fact that the object's thermal signatures are not limited to localized hotspots. When we examined the distribution of heat across 3IATLAS, we found a pattern that defies conventional geological explanations. The heat distribution does not follow a typical model of planetary or celestial body cooling, which is based on simple thermal gradients. Instead, there's a sharp contrast between certain areas of 3IATLAS where heat is concentrated and others where the temperature remains relatively stable and cool. This suggests that some parts of the object may be active while others are more dormant, possibly indicating an internal process of energy distribution or storage that resembles the function of an organism's internal systems. Further analysis of the spectroscopic data reveals additional complexity.
Within the infrared spectrum, the absorption lines and emission features detected from 3IATLAS suggest the presence of compounds that are commonly associated with life processes. Molecules like amino acids, fatty acids, and nucleotide bases. These are the fundamental building blocks of life as we know it, and they form the very foundation of cellular structures, genetic material, and metabolic pathways. The exact chemical composition of 3IATLAS is still being studied, but the sheer variety and complexity of the compounds found is unprecedented for an object of this nature. This discovery adds weight to the hypothesis that 3IATLAS could be home to a form of life that is completely alien to anything we've encountered before. It's not just the chemical signatures that are unusual, but the combination of biological molecules found in such high concentrations. For example, The presence of these molecules, particularly in the quantities observed, suggests that there could be a process of ongoing biosynthesis taking place on or within 3-ATLAS. These molecules could be part of a larger, more organized system, perhaps one that is even evolving or adapting to its environment in real time. Yet while the evidence points toward biological activity, it is also clear that we are still in the very early stages of understanding what is happening on 3-ATLAS. The object may be behaving in ways that are consistent with known biological systems, but it could also be operating on principles completely foreign to our understanding of life. This is what makes the discovery so remarkable. It forces us to question our assumptions about life and intelligence, pushing the boundaries of what we consider possible. The excitement surrounding these findings is palpable, but it is tempered by the realization that this discovery raises more questions than answers. What exactly is happening inside 3-ATLAS? How do these biological processes function, and what does this mean for the possibility of life elsewhere in the universe? We have only begun to scratch the surface, and as we gather more data, we will undoubtedly face new revelations that could challenge everything we know about biology, chemistry, and even the nature of intelligence. As we delve deeper into the data from 3-ATLAS, it becomes clear that the implications of this discovery stretch far beyond just the scientific community. We are at the threshold of a new era, one in which the boundaries of biology, chemistry, and technology are being redefined. If 3-ATLAS truly harbors life, whether biological or something entirely new, it challenges not only our understanding of life in the cosmos, but also the very foundations of our knowledge of the universe. One of the most profound realizations we are facing is that the complexity and organization within 3-ATLAS might not just be a product of random processes or natural formation.
Instead, it seems to indicate a level of sophistication that suggests intentionality. The structured heat patterns, the molecular complexity, and the synchronized activity across its surface all point toward the possibility that 3-ATLAS is home to a highly organized system, possibly a living organism, or a technologically advanced entity, or even a hybrid of both. This system could be operating in ways that are fundamentally different from anything we have encountered on Earth. At this stage, it's important to understand that we are not simply looking at a celestial body that happens to have some unusual features. What we're seeing is the potential for a living, breathing system that functions on a level that could mirror or even exceed the biological systems we know. The question now is how we interpret these signs of life. Is this an organic, biochemical process we are witnessing? Or is it the output of a highly advanced technological system that mimics life? And how does this impact our understanding of what constitutes life in the broader cosmos? The most unsettling aspect of this discovery is the realization that we may be on the cusp of encountering a form of intelligence far beyond our own. If 3-ATLAS is home to an advanced civilization, it could possess knowledge, technologies, and capabilities that we cannot even begin to fathom. Imagine a species capable of building systems that function on an interstellar scale, systems that can navigate the vast distances of space, adapt to the harshest environments, and possibly even manipulate energy or matter in ways that we have yet to conceive. This raises a critical question. How would we, as humans, interact with such an advanced civilization? Would we find common ground, or would we be overwhelmed by the vast disparity in our technological and intellectual development? Dr. Sarah Hammond, a leading expert in interstellar communication, has been studying the potential for communication with extraterrestrial life for years. Her research focuses on the principles of communication across vast distances, using the tools of physics, mathematics, and information theory. She believes that the discovery of life in 3-ATLAS opens up an entirely new field of exploration, one where the methods of communication that we take for granted on Earth might no longer apply. If the life forms inside 3IATLAS are as advanced as the data suggests, our methods of communication could be completely inadequate, she explains. We may need to rethink our entire approach to the way we send and receive messages across space. This presents both a challenge and an opportunity. While the prospect of communicating with an extraterrestrial intelligence is exciting, it also forces us to reconsider how we view intelligence itself. We tend to define intelligence in terms of human capabilities, our ability to reason, solve problems, and communicate.
But what if intelligence exists in forms we cannot yet recognize, governed by principles that are completely foreign to our understanding of the mind? If the beings inside 3IATLAS are truly intelligent, they may perceive the universe in ways that we cannot even imagine, using sensory and cognitive systems that are entirely different from ours. The discovery also raises ethical considerations that we must address. If 3IATLAS harbors intelligent life, or if it is home to an advanced technological civilization, what is our responsibility? How do we treat these beings with the respect and dignity they deserve? In the past, humanity has often approached new civilizations, whether on Earth or in its history of exploration, with a mindset of domination or exploitation. This time, however, we must approach the unknown with a new set of values, one that prioritizes cooperation, mutual respect, and peaceful engagement. The challenge is immense, but the potential rewards are even greater. The knowledge that could be shared, the scientific advancements that could be made, and the philosophical insights that could emerge from this encounter are beyond measure. However, as much as we hope for peaceful contact, we must equally prepare for the possibility that the beings inside 3IATLAS may not be interested in peaceful interaction, or worse, they may pose a threat to our existence. The unknowns are many, and we must be ready for every eventuality. The military and defense sectors are already preparing contingencies, ensuring that we are equipped to respond to any potential dangers. While the likelihood of a hostile encounter remains low, the reality of dealing with an advanced extraterrestrial presence means that all possibilities must be considered. The thermal and spectroscopic data from 3IATLAS suggest not just biological activity, but also an underlying level of complexity that mirrors the structures found in Earth's most sophisticated organisms and technologies. Whether this is a form of self-regulation, communication, or something entirely different remains unclear. What we do know is that the object itself is unlike anything we've ever encountered before. As we continue to gather data and analyze the signals, we must remain patient, vigilant, and prepared to adjust our understanding as more information becomes available. The global response to this discovery will be critical. Already, governments, space agencies, and scientific institutions around the world are coordinating efforts to monitor the object and develop a strategy for first contact should it come to that. But beyond the scientific and political preparations, we must also consider the human aspect of this discovery. People around the world will be processing the implications of this news in their own ways. The existential questions it raises about our place in the universe, the nature of life, and the future of humanity will resonate deeply with every individual.
It is up to all of us as a global community to navigate this new reality with wisdom, compassion, and a shared sense of responsibility. As the days pass, the global community will increasingly find itself grappling with the realities of what this discovery truly means. The prospect of first contact, the discovery of life on a cosmic scale, will transform not only the way we understand biology and physics, but also our entire worldview. For centuries, humanity has looked up at the stars, imagining what might lie beyond our own planet. And now, as we stand on the brink of this monumental moment, we are forced to confront the full implications of what it means to share the universe with other forms of life. The emergence of 3IATLAS as an active, potentially intelligent system challenges everything we thought we knew about life, intelligence, and existence. If life exists in such a form, what does this mean for our understanding of evolution, both on Earth and across the cosmos? Our biology, built on carbon, water, and DNA, has always been considered the standard for life. But as we face the possibility of encountering life forms that do not fit this mold, life that might be radically different from anything we've ever known, our understanding of the fundamental requirements for life will need to evolve. In this light, one of the most pressing questions we must answer is whether 3IATLAS represents an entirely biological life form or if it's a technologically advanced, artificially created entity that mimics life in a way we cannot yet comprehend. The extraordinary chemical and thermal signatures detected could be the result of biological processes, yet there remains a significant possibility that we're witnessing a highly advanced technological system operating in ways that blur the line between biology and machine. If this is the case, it would challenge our very definition of life itself, expanding it beyond the confines of organic chemistry and into the realm of artificial intelligence or cybernetic organisms. This uncertainty only deepens the mystery. Every new discovery about 3IATLAS seems to open up more questions. If we're dealing with a life form or system that is not bound by the same biological principles that govern life on Earth, what are the implications for us? How do we interact with something whose biology, or lack thereof, may be beyond our understanding? How do we communicate? And can we even begin to comprehend their needs, their motivations, or their perceptions of the world? These questions will require a new framework for interspecies interaction, one that transcends the conventional boundaries of human communication, ethics, and understanding. Dr. Robert Martinez's work on the potential network structure within 3IATLAS has only heightened these concerns.
His application of network theory to the thermal hotspots observed on the object has suggested that these areas might be functioning as interconnected nodes, almost like the synapses in a neural network, transmitting energy and information across its surface. This finding adds another layer to the puzzle. If 3IATLAS is indeed a living or semi-living system, it may possess a form of consciousness, or at the very least, a level of coordination and self-regulation that resembles intelligence. And if intelligence is present, it raises even more questions. Does this intelligence seek communication? What does it perceive of us as Earth's inhabitants? And what is its agenda if it has one? At this point, we are venturing into territory where our scientific knowledge and understanding may be insufficient. The discovery of intelligence in the universe would be a paradigm-shifting event, but the knowledge that this intelligence might be more advanced and operate on principles we cannot even grasp makes it even more challenging to navigate. Our instincts may tell us to approach cautiously, to prepare for the worst, but we must also balance this with an openness to the possibility of cooperation and understanding. This is where the ethical considerations become particularly critical. We must remember that no matter how different these life forms might be from us, they may possess qualities, such as the ability to reason, to learn, or to adapt, that make them worthy of our respect and consideration. Just as we must protect our own world from those who would exploit or harm it, we must also ensure that we do not fall into the same trap with any potential extraterrestrial beings. If we are to engage with these life forms, whether they are biological or technological, we must do so with humility, empathy, and the acknowledgement that despite our differences, we share a fundamental connection: the desire for survival, understanding, and coexistence. On Earth, our history is fraught with examples of how civilizations, whether human or otherwise, have responded to encounters with the other. In the past, these encounters have often led to exploitation, violence, and domination. It is crucial that we do not repeat these mistakes. As we prepare for the next steps, we must develop new ethical frameworks,
not just to guide our scientific exploration, but to ensure that we approach these life forms, or whatever they may be, with the same respect and dignity we would want for ourselves. Our ability to make this leap in our moral and ethical development will determine the success of this momentous encounter, not only for humanity, but for the future of interstellar relations. The psychological impact of this discovery will also play a significant role in shaping how we proceed. For some, the knowledge that we're not alone in the universe will be a source of wonder, inspiration, and hope.
It may offer a new sense of unity, not only among the people of Earth, but between our planet and the stars. For others, however, the realization that life exists beyond our own world may provoke anxiety, fear, or existential doubt. The implications of this discovery reach far beyond science, touching upon our deepest beliefs about our place in the universe. How we manage these psychological and emotional responses will be crucial in ensuring that we, as a species, remain united in our pursuit of knowledge and progress. But no matter what challenges or uncertainties lie ahead, the opportunity before us is one that humanity cannot afford to ignore. The discovery of life on 3IATLAS, whether biological or technological, represents the greatest opportunity for growth, learning, and collaboration in human history. This is not just about proving that we are not alone. It's about embracing the unknown, expanding the boundaries of our understanding, and stepping into a new era of cosmic exploration. As 3IATLAS continues its approach, and as we prepare to learn more about this mysterious object and its inhabitants, we must do so with the knowledge that we are standing on the precipice of something extraordinary. The universe is vast and full of mysteries, but we are no longer passive observers. We are active participants in this cosmic drama, and how we respond will shape not only the future of humanity, but the future of life in the universe. As we prepare for the final days leading up to the closest approach of 3IATLAS, the sense of urgency and curiosity will only intensify. Humanity, as a whole, will find itself at a crossroads, confronted by questions that reach far beyond the realm of scientific inquiry. While we have begun to scratch the surface of what is happening on and within 3IATLAS, the deeper implications of this discovery continue to unfold. It's important to acknowledge that this moment is more than just a pivotal moment for astronomers and researchers. It is a moment for all of humanity. How we react to this discovery and how we manage the inevitable encounter with extraterrestrial life will define our civilization for centuries to come. The immediate challenge will be to continue collecting data from 3IATLAS as it draws nearer, ensuring that every observation is meticulously cataloged and analyzed. Each piece of information we gather brings us one step closer to understanding the nature of this object, its life forms, and how it fits into the broader context of our universe. The James Webb Space Telescope has already provided extraordinary insights, but it will just be the beginning of what is likely to be a prolonged period of study. As 3IATLAS continues on its trajectory, we will need to employ every available resource, ground-based telescopes, space probes, and other observational tools to track its movements and behavior.
At the same time, however, we must be prepared for the possibility of direct interaction. While it is still unclear whether 3IATLAS will make contact, whether through signals or some other form of communication, we must remain ready for the moment when it does. The idea of first contact, an encounter with another intelligent species, or a life form of such complexity and sophistication that we can barely comprehend it, is both exhilarating and daunting. As we navigate this unknown territory, we must approach the situation with a head-leveled mindset and a readiness to engage, not with fear or suspicion, but with curiosity, respect, and the desire to learn. The implications of this encounter will not be confined to just the scientific community. As the information about 3IATLAS becomes public, people across the globe will be processing the news in different ways. This moment will fundamentally alter our understanding of life in the universe, and it will force us to confront deep existential questions that have long been left unasked.
Are we prepared to handle the social, cultural, and psychological consequences of knowing that we are not alone? Will this knowledge unify humanity as we realize we are a part of a larger cosmic community? Or will it divide us as we struggle to reconcile our place in the universe with our beliefs, our values, and our fears? The societal impact of this discovery is immense. For generations, the question of whether there is life beyond Earth has captivated humanity's imagination. But now, with the potential for first contact just on the horizon, the conversation shifts from speculation to reality. As individuals, societies, and cultures, we will need to engage in deep reflection on what it means to be human in a universe filled with life. This is not just an intellectual exercise, it is an existential challenge that will force us to reconsider our place in the grand scheme of things. While we have spent centuries building our scientific understanding of the universe, we have only begun to scratch the surface of what lies beyond our planet. If 3IATLAS is indeed home to life, whether biological or technological, it is a life that operates under principles and systems we have never encountered before. This could lead to profound breakthroughs in our understanding of biology, chemistry, physics, and even the nature of intelligence itself. But it also presents a challenge. How do we engage with life forms that may have radically different ways of perceiving the universe, different methods of communication, and different needs, desires, and goals? This is where the ethical questions become paramount. How do we approach life that is so different from our own? Should we treat the beings inside 3IATLAS as equals, or should we consider them a potential threat? What do we owe them, if anything, as fellow sentient beings? These questions are not easy, and there are no easy answers.
But the discovery of life beyond Earth forces us to confront them head-on. The future of humanity's relationship with extraterrestrial life will be defined by the ethical frameworks we establish now. We must also consider the broader implications of this discovery for our species. Humanity has always been driven by the desire to explore, to discover, and to push the boundaries of what is possible. But with this new chapter in our history, we are no longer simply explorers of our own world. We are now explorers of the cosmos. We are taking our first steps into a universe that is far more vast, complex, and mysterious than we ever realized. This realization should not just inspire wonder, but also a deep sense of responsibility. As we move forward in the coming weeks, the importance of international cooperation will be greater than ever. The discovery of life beyond Earth, or the possibility of first contact, is a global issue that transcends national borders. The way we respond to this discovery must be guided by a sense of shared humanity, as we work together to navigate the unknown. The challenges we face in the coming months and years will require the collaboration of governments, scientists, philosophers, and citizens from all walks of life. The excitement that surrounds this discovery is tempered by the sobering reality that we are entering uncharted territory. We have no experience with first contact, no history of interacting with extraterrestrial life, and no clear guidelines for how to proceed. But one thing is certain: the next steps will define the future of humanity. We will either rise to the occasion, embracing the unknown with courage and unity, or we will falter, overwhelmed by fear and uncertainty. The choices we make now will shape not just our future, but the future of all life on Earth. As the final approach of 3IATLAS becomes imminent, the global stage is set for one of the most significant events in human history.
This is not just a scientific milestone, but a profound shift in how humanity perceives its place in the universe. The discovery of extraterrestrial life, or the evidence of it, forces us to ask questions about who we are, where we come from, and where we are going. For centuries, we have looked to the stars with wonder, imagining that we might one day encounter other forms of life. Now, that possibility is no longer a distant dream. It is a reality, and it is within our reach. The discovery of life within 3IATLAS, or even the suggestion that life may exist in forms entirely different from our own, challenges our deepest assumptions about biology and the nature of life itself. We have long defined life by the characteristics we observe on Earth: cellular structures, organic chemistry, and a reliance on water, oxygen, and carbon-based molecules. But 3IATLAS defies these assumptions.
The data suggests that life, if indeed it exists inside, could be based on entirely different principles, perhaps even something far beyond the biological systems we understand. This realization forces us to broaden our definition of life and intelligence, stretching the boundaries of science and pushing us to reconsider what it means to be alive. However, while the discovery is an extraordinary breakthrough in terms of knowledge, it also presents profound ethical dilemmas. As we prepare for first contact or further study of this object, we must consider the ethical implications of our actions. If 3IATLAS contains life, intelligent or otherwise, we are confronted with the responsibility to engage with that life in a way that is respectful, ethical, and in the best interests of both our world and theirs. How do we approach beings or systems that may not share our values, our needs, or our concept of existence? Can we find common ground in a universe so vast, or are we destined to encounter alien life forms that are incomprehensible to us? The ethical questions surrounding this discovery are not abstract. They have real, immediate consequences for how we respond to 3IATLAS, both scientifically and socially. Do we, as a species, view this discovery as an opportunity for collaboration, understanding, and shared knowledge? Or do we see it as a threat, a challenge to our dominance or our place in the universe? The way we choose to engage with extraterrestrial life, should it exist, will set the tone for future interstellar relationships, and it will define the moral compass by which humanity navigates this new frontier. Equally important is the impact this discovery will have on humanity's global psyche. We live in an era where divisions, conflicts, and challenges are all too common. The discovery of extraterrestrial life offers humanity an opportunity for unity, for coming together across national, cultural, and ideological divides to face a challenge that affects us all. The implications of this discovery transcend political boundaries. It is a moment for all of humanity to reflect on its shared future, to put aside differences and confront the unknown as a united species. This collective response to be one of the most powerful expressions of human solidarity in history. However, the psychological and emotional reactions to the discovery will be varied. Some may greet this news with wonder and excitement, seeing it as a historic moment that elevates humanity into the broader cosmic community. Others may experience fear or anxiety, unsure of what this means for the future of Earth and our place in the universe. The knowledge that we are not alone, while undeniably profound, may also raise existential questions that we have not yet fully prepared to answer. The challenge, then, will be to foster a sense of hope and possibility, rather than fear or uncertainty. We must encourage an open, inclusive dialogue about the future, one that allows people to process this revelation in ways that are constructive and forward-looking. In the scientific realm, the discovery of life inside 3IATLAS presents an opportunity to expand our understanding of biology, chemistry, and physics. If we can learn from the life forms or the system inside, we may gain insights into how life operates in environments far different from Earth. It could open up entirely new fields of study, from bioengineering to energy production, and even shape the future of space exploration. The potential applications for humanity's scientific advancement are boundless. But the pursuit of these discoveries must be tempered by caution, respect, and a commitment to ethical exploration. The idea of discovering an advanced alien civilization is, of course, a double-edged sword. While there is much to gain in terms of knowledge and technology, there are also significant risks. We cannot ignore the possibility that the life inside 3IATLAS may not share our values or our goals. If it is an advanced civilization, what are its intentions? Could it pose a threat to Earth, either through technological means or simply by virtue of its superior capabilities? These are questions that we must take seriously, even as we remain hopeful and optimistic about the possibilities for collaboration. It is essential that we maintain vigilance and preparedness as we move forward, knowing that we are encountering something far beyond our current comprehension. As the moment of closest approach looms, we must continue to monitor 3IATLAS carefully, using all the instruments at our disposal. The data gathered from this object could provide us with crucial insights into its composition, its purpose, and perhaps even its intentions. But it is not just the science that matters, it is how we use that knowledge. The way we manage the information, how we respond to the reality of extraterrestrial life, and how we integrate this discovery into the larger narrative of human history will define us. This discovery is not just about what we learn from 3IATLAS, it is about what we learn about ourselves. In the face of this unknown, humanity must rise to the occasion. We must prove that we are capable of handling the unknown with grace, humility, and wisdom. How we choose to respond in these critical moments will shape the future of our species and perhaps even determine the course of human history for centuries to come. As the days pass and we draw closer to the moment when 3IATLAS reaches its closest point to Earth, there is a growing sense of urgency and anticipation. The significance of this event is not just scientific. It touches on everything that makes us human: our curiosity, our desire for discovery, our quest for meaning in the universe. As we approach the final phase of this unprecedented encounter, the entire world will be watching, waiting for the next revelation, the next breakthrough. But we must approach these moments with both wonder and caution, as the questions raised by the presence of 3IATLAS are as vast and as complex as the universe itself.
Just as our own technological advancements have radically altered the course of our civilization, the introduction of more advanced technologies, especially those we do not fully understand, could have profound consequences. The potential for scientific breakthroughs is immense, but so too is the potential for disruption, miscommunication, and unforeseen consequences. Humanity's ability to adapt, learn, and integrate new knowledge will be tested to its limits. At the same time, we must ask ourselves, what is the true purpose of this encounter? Is it a mere coincidence, a fleeting moment in the vast timeline of the universe? Or is there something more at play here, something that is pushing us toward a new stage of evolution, both as individuals and as a species? 3IATLAS may be the catalyst for a new understanding of life itself, an opportunity for humanity to take its place in the larger cosmic community. As we await the closest approach of 3IATLAS, we must also consider how we will manage the social and cultural impact of this discovery. When the information becomes public, how will the world react? Will we be united in our pursuit of knowledge, or will divisions deepen between those who embrace this new reality and those who fear it? It is essential that we manage this transition thoughtfully, ensuring that people across the globe have the resources and the space to process this revelation. The psychological impact of knowing that we are not alone in the universe will be felt by every individual on Earth, and it will take time for humanity to come to terms with this new reality. It is crucial that we support one another through this transition, helping people to understand the significance of the discovery while providing the necessary tools to address their fears, doubts, or anxieties. In the midst of this uncertainty, one thing is clear. The discovery of extraterrestrial life represents a moment of profound opportunity. This is a time to reflect on our place in the universe, to question the assumptions we have long held, and to prepare for the challenges and possibilities that lie ahead. The discovery of 3IATLAS and the life or systems within it marks the beginning of a new chapter in the human story, one where we are no longer just isolated beings on a small planet, but active participants in the greater cosmic narrative. The coming weeks will be filled with discovery, but also with uncertainty. As we continue to gather data and analyze the information, we must remain open to all possibilities. The journey of understanding 3IATLAS will require us to think beyond the boundaries of what we know, to push the limits of our imagination, and to approach this discovery with the courage and humility necessary to navigate the unknown. This is not the end of the journey, but the beginning.
The arrival of 3IATLAS will be a moment that changes everything, from the way we perceive life to the way we interact with the universe around us. The choices we make now, as individuals, as nations, and as a species, will determine whether this discovery leads to cooperation and enlightenment or fear and division. We must rise to the challenge, knowing that whatever happens, we are not alone in the universe, and the future of humanity is intertwined with whatever comes next. As the time approaches for 3IATLAS to make its closest pass, we must begin to prepare for the moment when it becomes visible to the naked eye. The final stages of this journey will likely be marked by increased public attention, and the world will watch in real time as the object nears our planet. This will be a defining moment in human history, one that will be remembered by future generations as the time when humanity made contact with something from beyond Earth. But it will also be a moment of introspection, a time when we look inward, reflecting on how we view ourselves in relation to the vastness of the cosmos. We must prepare not only for scientific revelations, but for the societal and cultural shifts that are certain to follow. The discovery of extraterrestrial life, whether biological or technological, will undoubtedly spark a wave of questions, debates, and philosophical inquiries. What does this mean for religion, for our belief systems, and for our understanding of our place in the universe? For centuries, humanity has pondered whether we are the only intelligent beings in existence. Now, as the evidence of life beyond Earth becomes undeniable, we are faced with the reality that our understanding of existence must expand beyond our narrow Earth-centric perspective. In the coming months and years, we will need to rethink not only our approach to science, but also how we view ourselves as a species. If we are to truly engage with whatever life exists inside 3IATLAS, we must do so with a new sense of humility and respect. The knowledge that we are not alone should inspire awe, but it should also challenge us to reconsider the assumptions we've held for centuries about intelligence, communication, and civilization. Are we the only form of life that has reached an advanced stage of development, or are we one of many in a vast network of interconnected beings scattered throughout the universe? Moreover, the cultural and psychological impacts of this discovery will be profound. The notion of first contact, of engaging with another form of intelligent life, raises questions that extend beyond science into the realm of the human condition. How will we as individuals come to terms with this new reality? How will our societies, our governments, and our institutions adapt to the changes that are sure to come? Will this discovery unite humanity, or will it lead to divisions, fears, and uncertainties?
The way we handle the societal ramifications of this moment will determine whether we rise to the occasion or falter in the face of the unknown. This discovery will also raise important questions about the future of space exploration. If 3IATLAS is indeed home to life, it opens up the possibility that other objects in our galaxy and beyond may contain similar forms of life. The discovery of life beyond Earth should not just be seen as a one-off event, but as the beginning of a new era in our understanding of the universe. What if 3IATLAS is not the only such object? What if we are just beginning to uncover a vast, interconnected network of life that spans across the cosmos? This will fundamentally change how we view the potential for life on other planets, as well as our role in the search for it. In the coming years, humanity will likely be faced with the decision to embark on a new era of interstellar exploration, one that goes beyond merely sending probes and satellites to distant planets. If 3IATLAS is the first evidence of life beyond Earth, it could spur efforts to explore other systems in the hopes of discovering even more civilizations, life forms, or systems that might teach us about the universe. These endeavors will not be without their challenges. Traveling beyond our solar system is still a monumental task, but the possibility that life exists beyond Earth could be the catalyst that pushes humanity to develop the technologies necessary for deeper space exploration. It is important, however, that we approach this next phase of exploration with caution and consideration. As much as we yearn for knowledge, we must be mindful of the risks involved in encountering extraterrestrial life. The unknown is inherently dangerous, and any form of communication or contact must be handled with extreme care. The last thing we want is to repeat the mistakes of history when first contact between different civilizations led to exploitation, violence, or unintended consequences. The way we approach life in the cosmos must be grounded in principles of respect, ethics, and mutual understanding. While the excitement of discovery is undeniable, the responsibility that comes with it is immense. Humanity must not act rashly, nor should we rush into interactions with extraterrestrial life without careful consideration. We must take the time to understand what we're dealing with, to weigh the risks and rewards, and to craft a strategy for engagement that is both respectful and strategic. The discovery of life beyond Earth is not just an opportunity for scientific advancement. It is an opportunity for growth as a species, an opportunity to learn, adapt, and mature in ways we never thought possible. This moment also provides us with a unique opportunity to reflect on our own planet. The knowledge that we are not alone in the universe should encourage us to reevaluate how we treat the life we share Earth with.
It should inspire us to protect the delicate ecosystems that support life on our planet and to consider the broader ethical implications of our actions on Earth. The discovery of extraterrestrial life should serve as a reminder of our interconnectedness, not just with the cosmos, but with the living systems on our own world. We have a responsibility to ensure that our interactions with other life forms are conducted in a way that promotes sustainability, peace, and the flourishing of life. In the coming days and weeks, as we continue to observe 3IATLAS and prepare for any potential contact, we must also look to the future. The challenges we face in the wake of this discovery will require collaboration, understanding, and patience. We are no longer isolated beings on a small planet. We are now part of a much larger cosmic community. How we navigate this new reality will determine the future of our species and our place in the universe. As we look ahead, we must remember that this discovery is not the end of the journey, but the beginning of something far greater. It is a call to explore, to understand, and to connect. It is a challenge to our imagination, to our sense of self, and to our capacity for empathy. But most importantly, it is an invitation to grow, to expand our understanding of life, intelligence, and the cosmos itself. The next steps are ours to take, and how we respond will define the future of humanity for generations to come. As we move closer to the moment when 3IATLAS reaches its nearest point to Earth, we are reminded of the enormity of the task ahead. This is not just a scientific mission, it is a defining moment for humanity. The questions we face now about life, intelligence, and the future are not just theoretical. They are questions that will shape the course of human history, determining whether we rise to the challenge or let fear and uncertainty dictate our actions. In the coming days, the level of public interest will intensify. The world will be watching, and the sense of anticipation will only grow as the object draws nearer. The media will be filled with discussions about 3IATLAS, and experts from every field – astronomy, biology, philosophy, and ethics – will offer their insights. It's important that we approach this moment with transparency and clarity. The public deserves to know the facts, to understand the significance of this discovery, and to participate in the conversation. This is not just a scientific breakthrough, it is a human breakthrough. The discovery of life beyond Earth touches everyone, regardless of their background, location, or beliefs. As scientists, we have a responsibility not just to explore, but to educate and inform. We must break down the complexities of the data and share it in ways that are accessible to the broader public.
The fear of the unknown can be overwhelming, and it is crucial that we approach this discovery with a sense of purpose and calm, offering a balanced perspective on what the data means. We must also remain open to the fact that, as we move closer to first contact, there are still many unknowns. The journey ahead will not be easy, but it will be one filled with discovery, growth, and unprecedented opportunities for humanity. This is not just a moment for science, it is a moment for philosophy, for ethics, and for culture. The implications of this discovery extend far beyond the lab or the observatory. They will reverberate through every aspect of our lives, our beliefs, our values, and our understanding of what it means to be human. As we prepare for first contact, we must ask ourselves, what does it mean for humanity to encounter other life forms? What is our role in this vast, interconnected cosmos? While the excitement of discovery is undeniable, the uncertainty surrounding the nature of 3IATLAS adds complexity to the situation. We must ask ourselves, what will our approach be when we first make contact with the beings or systems within 3IATLAS? Will we engage with them as equals, with a spirit of cooperation and mutual learning? Or will we view them as a threat, something to be controlled or dominated? The answers to these questions will shape not only the future of our species, but also the future of our civilization. There is also the matter of the potential risks. While it's easy to dream of peaceful cooperation with extraterrestrial life, the reality of contact may be more complex. The beings within 3IATLAS, if they are indeed alive, could be more advanced than we are, technologically, intellectually, and perhaps even biologically. If this is the case, how do we ensure that we do not become overwhelmed or exploited? How do we protect ourselves, our planet, and our way of life while simultaneously remaining open to the possibilities that this encounter could bring? These questions demand careful thought and strategic planning. At the same time, we must remain optimistic. The discovery of life beyond Earth presents humanity with an opportunity like no other, a chance to learn, to grow, and to expand our understanding of the universe. If we approach this moment with curiosity, humility, and respect, we may find that the universe is not just a vast, empty void,
but a place teeming with life, knowledge, and potential. The idea that we are part of a larger cosmic community is not only awe-inspiring, but also profoundly humbling. It calls us to be better stewards of our own planet, to approach the unknown with compassion and wisdom, and to embrace the future with a sense of wonder and possibility. As we continue to monitor 3IATLAS and await its closest approach, we must remember that this is just the beginning. The data we have gathered so far is only a glimpse of what lies ahead.
What we learn from this discovery will likely be just the first chapter in a much larger story, one that will continue to unfold over the coming years, decades, and centuries. The future of humanity's place in the cosmos is inextricably linked to how we respond to the challenge of first contact. The journey ahead will not be without its difficulties. The unknown is always daunting, and we may face moments of fear, confusion, and doubt. But it is in those moments that humanity's true strength will be tested. Will we respond with courage, or will we retreat in fear? Will we rise to meet this challenge, or will we allow uncertainty to hold us back? The answers to these questions lie in our hands. In the end, the discovery of life beyond Earth is not just a scientific achievement, it is a profound opportunity for humanity to come together, to learn, and to grow. It is a chance to rewrite the story of who we are, what we value, and where we are going as a species. As we prepare for the next phase of this extraordinary journey, let us do so with hope, with determination, and with a commitment to exploring the unknown in a way that reflects the best of humanity. The universe has opened a door to us, and the choice of whether we walk through it with grace, wisdom, and unity is ours. This is our moment, and how we respond will shape not only the future of Earth, but the future of all life in the cosmos. As we stand on the brink of this historic encounter, it is important to consider the broader long-term consequences of what is unfolding. The discovery of life beyond Earth is not a singular event. It represents the beginning of an entirely new phase for humanity. This phase will require us to reevaluate not just our scientific capabilities, but also our very sense of identity. The encounter with extraterrestrial life, whether through direct contact or through the evidence we've already gathered, will push humanity into uncharted territories. The implications will affect not just our understanding of the universe, but our future as a species. In the years to come, the influence of this discovery will spread into all aspects of human life: our politics, our education systems, our technological development, and even our philosophy. As we begin to recognize that we are part of a much larger, interconnected cosmos, humanity will inevitably be forced to reconsider its priorities. Will we continue to focus solely on our differences, or will we come together, unified by the knowledge that we share the universe with others? This is the crux of the matter. How we respond will shape the course of civilization. As much as there is excitement, there is also the undeniable reality of the unknown. What happens if the beings within 3IATLAS do not wish to communicate or engage with us? What if their intentions are incomprehensible to us?
These are questions that we must prepare for, as it's essential not to become too absorbed by optimism and ignore the potential dangers that come with such an unprecedented encounter. The future is filled with uncertainties, and the discovery of extraterrestrial life forces us to ask ourselves, are we ready for the challenges it brings, both physical and philosophical? One crucial consideration will be the sustainability of any potential interactions. How do we ensure that we do not make decisions that could lead to unintended consequences for Earth, for the other life forms within 3IATLAS, or for the future of human society? This discovery demands that we not only embrace the possibilities of scientific advancement,
but also be vigilant in safeguarding our planet, our values, and our collective future. We must be cautious in how we interpret the signals, how we engage with what we find, and how we apply that knowledge to both short-term and long-term strategies. One aspect of this new frontier is the technological opportunities that could emerge. Should the beings within 3IATLAS be technologically advanced, there is a chance that we may encounter technologies far beyond our current understanding. What could we learn about energy sources, transportation, medicine, or communication that could radically alter life on Earth? We have only begun to imagine the potential that exists in these areas. But again, we must proceed with wisdom and responsibility, understanding that the introduction of such advancements could change the fabric of human civilization. Technology could both elevate and challenge us, potentially creating divisions or inequalities within society if not managed carefully. At the same time, we must recognize that the presence of life within 3IATLAS is not just a boon for technology. It's a chance to fundamentally reshape our understanding of biology. The fact that life may exist in such radically different environments and systems will force biologists, chemists, and physicists to reconsider everything they know about the origins of life, its evolution, and its potential to thrive in the most extreme conditions. Could life as we know it be more adaptable than we think? What can we learn from the microbial or perhaps even complex systems within 3IATLAS that could help us better protect our own ecosystems here on Earth? Additionally, this discovery provides humanity with an opportunity to reconnect with the deeper questions of existence. As we confront the reality of extraterrestrial life, we will need to address the philosophical questions it brings. How do we define intelligence and consciousness? How do we reconcile the idea that life may exist in forms entirely different from what we know and yet still be considered alive? These are questions that will demand answers not just from scientists, but from philosophers, ethicists, and thinkers of all disciplines.
We will have to confront not just the what of this discovery, but the why and the how of our place in the cosmos. The broader societal and cultural implications are just as significant. This discovery has the potential to transform the way we perceive ourselves and our relationship with other life forms, both here on Earth and in the wider universe. This could be the beginning of a new era for humanity, one that could transcend national borders and cultural divides, where people from all walks of life come together in the pursuit of knowledge, understanding, and unity. It could serve as a unifying force for humanity, helping us realize that despite our differences, we are all part of the same vast, interconnected cosmos. However, there is also the possibility that fear and uncertainty could dominate the response to this discovery. The idea of encountering extraterrestrial life, especially intelligent life, can evoke a range of emotions, from excitement and hope to fear and mistrust. It is essential then that we foster an atmosphere of openness, empathy, and understanding. As a species, we must be ready to engage in thoughtful discussions, share our knowledge, and create frameworks that allow for peaceful interaction. Whether we are dealing with microbial life, intelligent beings, or something entirely different, our approach must be rooted in respect and a shared commitment to peace. Looking forward, the discovery of life within 3IATLAS will likely lead to a period of deep reflection for humanity. The challenges ahead are significant, but so are the possibilities. We stand at a crossroads, and the choices we make will define our future. Will we rise to the occasion, acting with wisdom, humility, and unity? Or will we falter, overwhelmed by fear and uncertainty? The next steps are critical, and they will determine not only our future on Earth, but also our place in the cosmos. It is up to us to decide how this new chapter in human history will unfold.
As we enter this new chapter of human history, it is crucial that we reflect on the broader responsibility that comes with the knowledge of extraterrestrial life. We have always been a species driven by the desire to explore, to discover, and to expand the boundaries of our understanding. But now, however, the stakes are higher than ever before. The discovery of life beyond Earth is not just a triumph of science, it is an existential turning point that demands careful thought, careful planning, and a deep sense of responsibility. This moment represents a unique opportunity for humanity to come together, not just as a global society, but as a species, united by the shared realization that we are part of a much larger universe. The discovery of extraterrestrial life has the potential to fundamentally change our understanding of our place in the cosmos, but it also provides a critical moment for us to redefine what it means to be human.
As we face the unknown, we are forced to confront deep existential questions about what life is, how it evolves, and how we engage with it, not just here on Earth, but across the universe. One of the greatest challenges we face is how to approach this encounter with humility. For centuries, humanity has viewed itself as the pinnacle of intelligence and civilization. The idea that life could exist beyond Earth and that we might encounter it challenges that assumption. But this is not a threat. It is an opportunity. The realization that we are not alone in the universe should not diminish our sense of importance. It should elevate our perspective, helping us to see ourselves as part of a much larger community of life spread across the vast reaches of space. If 3IATLAS contains life, it forces us to question what we considered to be the hallmarks of intelligence. What does it mean to be intelligent? Is it our ability to reason, communicate, and create? Or could intelligence take on forms completely foreign to us, grounded in entirely different biological or technological principles? If the life inside 3IATLAS is capable of organizing, adapting, and responding to its environment, it may offer us a new definition of intelligence, one that transcends our earthbound understanding. Furthermore, the technology and knowledge that may be contained within 3IATLAS, or within its inhabitants, could offer us transformative breakthroughs in fields like energy, medicine, and space exploration. But we must approach this with caution. The introduction of new technologies that are vastly more advanced than our own could have far-reaching consequences. Our priority must be to ensure that any exchange of knowledge or technology is done in a manner that benefits humanity as a whole, not just select individuals or groups. The potential for scientific progress is boundless, but so too is the responsibility that comes with wielding such power. The discovery of extraterrestrial life is also a moment of deep ethical reflection. If 3IATLAS contains an intelligent species, what rights and responsibilities do we have toward them? How do we balance our desire to understand and learn with the need to respect their autonomy and preserve their way of life? Just as we strive to protect our own planet and ecosystems, we must approach any potential interactions with extraterrestrial life with the same commitment to respect and preservation. We must ask ourselves, are we prepared to treat these beings as equals, acknowledging their intelligence, their culture, and their rights? Beyond the scientific and ethical implications, there is a profound emotional and psychological shift that will occur as humanity begins to process this discovery. The realization that we are not alone in the universe will be both liberating and daunting. For many, it will be a source of awe and inspiration, offering a new sense of perspective and connection to the cosmos.
For others, it may provoke fear or anxiety, as the idea of interacting with life forms beyond our world can challenge deeply held beliefs and assumptions. As this new reality begins to sink in, it is essential that we foster a sense of unity, understanding, and emotional resilience. The discovery of extraterrestrial life is not something to fear, it is something to embrace. The fear of the unknown is natural,
but it is also an opportunity for growth. Humanity has faced the unknown before, whether in the exploration of new lands, the development of new technologies, or the search for answers to the mysteries of life. Each time we have risen to the challenge, expanded our understanding, and adapted to new realities. This time should be no different. The way we handle the public response to this discovery will be crucial. As the information becomes widely known, people across the globe will need clear, accurate, and accessible information to help them navigate the emotional and psychological impact of this revelation. Governments, scientists, and thought leaders must work together to ensure that the public is informed, supported, and prepared for the changes that lie ahead. The responsibility is immense, but it is also an opportunity to unite humanity in a shared sense of purpose. At the same time, we must continue to focus on the scientific and exploratory aspects of this discovery. We are not just passive observers, we are active participants in this unfolding story. Our ability to ask the right questions, to investigate with rigor and curiosity, will define the future of this discovery. The James Webb Space Telescope has already provided invaluable data, but it is only one piece of the puzzle. We must continue to gather as much information as possible, not just to understand 3IATLAS, but to prepare ourselves for whatever lies ahead. As we look to the future, we must remember that the discovery of extraterrestrial life is just the beginning. The questions, the challenges, and the opportunities will continue to unfold as we explore further, learn more, and interact with the life we've found. This is not the end of a journey. It is the beginning of a new chapter, one that could reshape the future of humanity, open new frontiers of discovery, and create a new sense of unity and purpose in the cosmos. As humanity stands on the precipice of this extraordinary new era, we must also acknowledge that the arrival of 3IATLAS and the discovery of life beyond Earth will likely provoke deep philosophical reflection on what it means to be human. The knowledge that we are part of a much larger cosmos, teeming with potential life and intelligence, calls into question many of the foundational beliefs and systems that have guided us for centuries. For millennia, humanity has looked up to the stars, wondering if we were the only intelligent beings in the universe.
Now that we know the answer is no, it forces us to reconsider everything about ourselves, our planet, and our place in the grand cosmic order. In this moment, humanity faces a pivotal choice. Will we approach the unknown with a sense of humility, understanding, and a desire to learn, or will we let fear and uncertainty drive our actions? The discovery of extraterrestrial life is not just an intellectual or scientific challenge, it is a test of our character as a species. It is a challenge to our collective identity, a call to examine who we are and how we interact with the wider universe. One of the most important tasks we face as we prepare for first contact, whether through direct communication or further scientific study, is to ensure that we approach the situation with the mindset of cooperation rather than conflict. While it is natural for people to feel fear when confronted with the unknown, it is essential that we resist the temptation to view extraterrestrial life as an adversary. The discoveries we've made so far about 3IATLAS suggest that it is not hostile, but rather an enigma, a piece of the cosmic puzzle that may provide us with answers to some of the most fundamental questions about life, the universe, and our own origins. But this will require a radical shift in how we approach the cosmos. For centuries, we have been the explorers, venturing into the unknown, discovering new lands and new frontiers, and establishing our dominance on Earth. The discovery of life beyond our planet forces us to reconsider this paradigm. We are no longer the center of the universe. The universe is far more complex, far more mysterious, and far more interconnected than we ever realized. We must now approach the cosmos as part of a much larger community, in which we are not the sole players, but rather participants in a vast cosmic network. This shift in perspective will not be easy, but it is essential. It is not enough to simply gather data and make scientific discoveries. The true test of this moment will be how we choose to respond, not just as individuals or as nations, but as a species. We must ask ourselves, How do we engage with life forms that are radically different from us? How do we build relationships across species, across planets, and perhaps across galaxies? These are questions we must begin to answer now, before first contact becomes a reality. As we move forward, the ethical considerations of this discovery will continue to evolve. We must consider the rights of extraterrestrial life, if indeed 3IATLAS is home to intelligent beings. What moral obligations do we have toward them? How do we ensure that we are respectful and responsible in our interactions and that we do not impose our own values on them? The potential for scientific and technological exchange with extraterrestrial civilizations is vast, but we must be mindful of the ethical implications of such exchanges.
Just as we protect the natural world and the ecosystems on Earth, we must extend that respect and consideration to the life we encounter beyond our world. It is also important that we remain cautious in our enthusiasm. The excitement surrounding the discovery of extraterrestrial life is understandable, but we must not let our curiosity blind us to the potential risks. The unknown is always fraught with danger, and the introduction of new technologies, biological systems, or even ideas could disrupt our way of life in ways we cannot foresee. As we move forward, we must be prepared for every eventuality, and we must approach the future with a balanced perspective that takes into account both the possibilities and the challenges that come with this discovery. The questions we are facing now are not just about science or technology. They are about humanity's place in the universe and our future as a species. This is a moment of profound transformation, one that will define the trajectory of human history for generations to come. We are no longer isolated on our small planet, but part of a vast, interconnected cosmos. The discovery of life beyond Earth marks the beginning of a new chapter in human exploration and understanding. In the coming years, we will continue to learn more about 3IATLAS and the life it may harbor. But this is only the beginning. As we begin to understand the full implications of this discovery, we must also prepare for the next steps. How we engage with these life forms, how we learn from them, and how we ensure that our place in the universe is one of collaboration and cooperation rather than conflict and division. We must ask ourselves not just what we can learn from them, but what we can offer them in return. The future of humanity is now intertwined with the discovery of life beyond Earth. This is a turning point in our history, a moment to reflect on who we are, where we have come from, and where we are going. As we continue to explore the cosmos, we must do so with humility, curiosity, and a deep sense of responsibility. The universe has opened a door to us, and it is up to us to walk through it with grace and wisdom, ready to embrace whatever lies ahead. The path forward is uncertain, but one thing is clear: the discovery of extraterrestrial life is not just a moment for scientific achievement. It is a moment for humanity to redefine itself, to broaden its horizons, and to take its place as part of the larger cosmic community. How we respond to this discovery will shape not only the future of humanity, but the future of all life in the universe. As we venture further into this new era of discovery, the concept of unity becomes more important than ever before. The knowledge that we are not alone in the universe calls for a collective, coordinated effort to ensure that humanity responds in a way that reflects the best of who we are.
We are no longer isolated, confined to our individual nations or cultures. We are part of a global community, and this discovery has the potential to unite us in ways that no other event in history has. The realization that life exists beyond Earth offers us a profound opportunity to transcend our divisions and come together in pursuit of a shared goal: understanding the cosmos and our place within it. However, This unity must be carefully cultivated. While the excitement of discovery can be a powerful force for bringing people together, it can also lead to division, especially if we fail to address the various fears, uncertainties, and potential conflicts that may arise in the wake of such a revelation. Different cultures, religions, and political systems may interpret the discovery of extraterrestrial life in diverse ways. Some may view it as a confirmation of their beliefs, while others may see it as a challenge to the foundations of their worldview. It is essential, therefore, that we approach this discovery with sensitivity, understanding, and an open dialogue that fosters cooperation and mutual respect. The idea of first contact, whether with microbial life or an advanced civilization, requires us to think beyond the scientific and technological implications. It challenges us to reflect on the ethical frameworks that guide our behavior, both as individuals and as a species. How do we navigate a future where we are no longer the only intelligent life in the universe? How do we balance our curiosity and desire for knowledge with the responsibility to approach new life forms with respect and care? These are not easy questions to answer, but they are questions that must be addressed if we are to move forward in a way that reflects the values of peace, empathy, and coexistence. The discovery of extraterrestrial life also brings with it an unprecedented opportunity for growth and progress. If the beings inside 3IATLAS are capable of communication, the exchange of knowledge could propel humanity into a new era of scientific, technological, and philosophical advancement. The potential for breakthroughs in fields like energy, medicine, space exploration, and artificial intelligence is staggering. The life forms within 3IATLAS may have knowledge and technology that could help us solve some of humanity's most pressing challenges, from climate change to disease eradication to the exploration of deep space. However, this potential comes with a caveat. We must ensure that any interactions are guided by principles of equity and fairness, ensuring that the knowledge shared benefits all of humanity, not just select groups or powerful nations. Moreover, we must be mindful of the risks that come with this newfound knowledge. The introduction of advanced technology, especially technology far beyond our current capabilities, can be a double-edged sword.
If misused, it could lead to the same kinds of conflicts, power struggles, and exploitation that have marred human history. The challenge, therefore, will be to develop ethical guidelines that govern our interactions with extraterrestrial life, ensuring that we use the knowledge and technology gained responsibly. We must avoid repeating the mistakes of the past, when the discovery of new lands or cultures often led to exploitation, colonization, and violence. In the short term, the scientific community must continue its work, gathering data and refining our understanding of what 3IATLAS is and what it contains. The James Webb Space Telescope has already provided us with a wealth of information, but this is just the beginning. As the object continues its approach, we will need to expand our efforts to monitor its behavior and gather as much data as possible. This will likely involve collaborations between international space agencies, universities, and research institutions, as well as the development of new technologies that can help us study 3IATLAS and any potential life forms within it. At the same time, governments around the world must prepare for the potential societal impact of this discovery. As we move closer to the moment when first contact becomes a reality, it will be crucial to ensure that people have access to clear, accurate information. Public education campaigns will be essential in helping people understand the significance of this discovery, the potential for future interactions, and the steps we are taking to ensure humanity's safety and well-being. The role of the media in shaping public perception will also be critical. It is essential that the information shared is grounded in fact and not driven by sensationalism or fear-mongering.
The discovery of extraterrestrial life should inspire hope, not panic. As the world prepares for what may come, it is essential to remember that this is not just a moment of discovery, it is a moment of profound transformation. Humanity is being called to step beyond its limitations, to embrace the unknown with a sense of curiosity and wonder, and to rise to the challenge of interacting with life forms from beyond our world. This is a turning point in our history, one that will require us to rethink everything we thought we knew about life, intelligence, and the universe itself. In the long term, the discovery of extraterrestrial life will likely lead to the development of new international frameworks for interstellar cooperation. The question of how we interact with other civilizations, how we trade, exchange knowledge, and ensure mutual safety will be central to the future of humanity's place in the cosmos. Will we be part of a larger cosmic community, exchanging ideas and technologies with other life forms? Or will we remain isolated, fearful of what lies beyond our world? The choice is ours.
How we approach this next phase of exploration, how we respond to the reality of extraterrestrial life, and how we engage with the universe will define not just our future, but the future of all life on Earth. This is a moment for humanity to demonstrate its highest ideals, to rise above our divisions, and to take our place in the larger cosmic narrative. The universe has opened a door to us. What we do next will determine whether we step forward with courage, unity, and wisdom, or retreat in fear and uncertainty. As the days continue to take down to the closest approach of 3IATLAS, humanity stands at the cusp of an era that will forever change the course of history. This is not just a moment for scientific discovery, but one that will test the very fabric of our species. For millennia, we have dreamed of making contact with other civilizations, of exploring the farthest reaches of the universe and learning from the vast mysteries it holds. Now, as 3IATLAS draws nearer, that dream is becoming a reality. But as exciting as this moment is, it also brings with it profound responsibility to the life forms we may encounter, to the future of humanity, and to the world we call home. We must now begin preparing for the possibility of first contact, which brings not just scientific and technological challenges, but also the need to adapt emotionally and culturally to the realization that we are not alone. This revelation forces us to reconsider what we know about life, intelligence, and the cosmos. The universe is far more complex and interconnected than we ever imagined, and we are only just beginning to grasp the scale of what lies beyond our small planet. One of the most immediate tasks we face is developing strategies for communication. If the life inside 3IATLAS is intelligent and capable of interacting with us, how do we bridge the vast gap between our two forms of existence? We cannot assume that their communication will resemble anything we know, nor can we rely on conventional methods of contact. Our language, our modes of thought, our sensory perception, everything that defines how we understand the world could be entirely different from theirs. This challenge of communication will likely be one of the greatest obstacles we face. How do we reach out to them, and how do we interpret their responses should they come? The stakes are high. The discovery of life beyond Earth is not merely a scientific milestone. It is a defining moment that forces us to confront our place in the cosmos. Are we ready for the responsibility that comes with this knowledge? Will we approach this discovery with respect and curiosity, or will we act out of fear, attempting to dominate what we do not understand? The way we respond to this encounter could shape humanity's future for generations. In this context, the role of global cooperation cannot be overstated.
The discovery of extraterrestrial life transcends borders, ideologies, and national interests. It is a universal event that requires a collective response from all of humanity. The questions that arise from this discovery are not just for the scientists, astronomers, and governments to answer. They are questions that everyone on Earth will need to grapple with. The ethical implications of our interactions with extraterrestrial life will be felt worldwide, and how we navigate this new reality will define our shared future. For centuries, humanity has struggled with divisions, whether they be political, cultural, or ideological. But in this moment, the opportunity to unite is unprecedented. The realization that we are not alone in the universe challenges us to reconsider our differences and recognize that we are all part of a much larger cosmic community. As we prepare to face the unknown, we must do so as one species, committed to the pursuit of knowledge, understanding, and peaceful coexistence. However, this unity cannot be achieved without addressing the deep existential questions that this discovery raises. What does it mean to be human in a universe that is filled with life? What is the purpose of our existence, and how do we fit into the greater tapestry of the cosmos? These are questions that will require the collective effort of philosophers, theologians, scientists, and thinkers from all walks of life. They are questions that touch on the core of our identity, our values, and our place in the universe. And while we may not have all the answers now, the journey toward understanding begins with the willingness to ask these difficult questions. Equally important is the need for preparedness. We are entering uncharted territory, and while the potential for discovery is immense, so too are the risks. We must remain vigilant and cautious, recognizing that we are dealing with forces far beyond our current understanding. The possibility of encountering life forms more advanced than our own introduces both opportunity and danger. How do we protect ourselves, our planet, and our civilization from the unknown? The task ahead is not just one of discovery, but one of ensuring that humanity can navigate this new reality without jeopardizing its future.
In the meantime, the scientific community must continue its work. The data we have gathered so far is only the beginning, and there is much more to learn. As we continue to study 3IATLAS, the insights we gain will help us refine our understanding of the object, its inhabitants, and the larger universe. But as we gather more data, we must also be prepared for the possibility that the answers we seek may not come easily. The complexity of this encounter is immense, and we may need to adjust our scientific frameworks as new information becomes available. Beyond the science, however, there is the need for wisdom. We must not rush to judgment or allow our emotions to cloud our judgment. The encounter with extraterrestrial life will be a test of our ability to approach the unknown with humility, to recognize our place in the cosmos, and to act in ways that are responsible, ethical, and aligned with our highest values as a species. How we engage with this moment will determine the legacy of our generation. Ultimately, the discovery of life beyond Earth is not just a moment in time. It is the beginning of a new era for human civilization. It challenges us to think beyond our planet, beyond our solar system, and to consider our place in the vast expanse of the cosmos. The arrival of 3IATLAS, the life it may harbor, and the possibilities it represents open doors to a future we have only dreamed of. But with this great potential comes a responsibility, one that we must shoulder with great care, wisdom, and compassion. In the coming days, as we continue to observe 3IATLAS and prepare for the future, we must remain focused not only on the scientific aspects, but also on the ethical, philosophical, and emotional dimensions of this discovery. How we respond to this moment will determine not only our future as a species, but also the future of life on Earth and beyond. We are faced with questions that are far larger than any one individual or group can answer. What does it mean for us to coexist with another form of life? How do we ensure that our actions are driven by a spirit of cooperation rather than fear or exploitation? These are the questions that will shape the legacy of this moment. The discovery of life beyond Earth will forever alter our understanding of the universe,
It will force us to rethink everything we know about biology, intelligence, and even the very nature of existence itself.
If 3IATLAS is indeed home to life, then it is not just a scientific breakthrough. It is a call to humanity to expand its horizons and embrace the unknown with a sense of humility, curiosity, and respect. But beyond the excitement of discovery, we must approach this new chapter in our history with caution. The unknown is always filled with potential, but it is also fraught with risks. The possibility that the life forms within 3IATLAS are more advanced than we are presents both tremendous opportunities and great dangers. We must ensure that any interaction is handled with the utmost care, keeping in mind the well-being of all life on Earth. The exchange of knowledge, technology, and wisdom is a powerful thing, but it must be done responsibly, with an eye toward preserving the future of humanity and the ecosystem we call home. At the same time, we must not lose sight of the profound opportunity that this discovery represents. We are no longer isolated on a small planet in the vast cosmos. We are part of a much larger universe, teeming with life, knowledge, and potential. The future of humanity is no longer confined to Earth. It stretches outwards into the stars, into the unexplored realms of space, where life in forms we cannot yet imagine may be waiting for us. This discovery is an invitation to explore, to grow, and to engage with the cosmos in a way that has never been possible before. But to seize this opportunity, we must act as one. Humanity's greatest strength has always been its ability to unite in the face of challenges, to collaborate in the pursuit of a common goal. The discovery of extraterrestrial life is a challenge unlike any we have faced before, and it will require us to come together, not just as individuals or nations, but as a species. Our collective future will depend on our ability to share knowledge, to engage with others, and to rise above the divisions that have long separated us. The time for fear and suspicion must give way to a new era of cooperation and understanding. As we look ahead, we must also remain mindful of the lessons we have learned from our own history. Humanity has often been quick to exploit the unknown, to claim what is new and unfamiliar for itself. But this time, we must approach with a sense of humility and respect. We are not the center of the universe, and the life forms we may encounter are not here to serve us. They are fellow travelers in this vast, interconnected cosmos. How we choose to engage with them will set the tone for future interactions and will define the legacy of this historic moment. The journey ahead will be long, and it will not always be easy. There will be challenges, setbacks, and moments of doubt, but there will also be moments of wonder, discovery, and growth. The future of humanity is at the beginning of something extraordinary, something that will shape the course of our species for generations to come. And it is up to us to decide how we respond to the unknown.
Will we face it with courage and curiosity? Will we embrace the opportunity to learn, to grow, and to connect with the wider universe? Or will we let fear and uncertainty hold us back? The choice is ours. The door to the cosmos has been opened, and humanity stands at the threshold of a new era. What lies beyond is unknown, but it is an opportunity unlike any other in human history. It is a call to explore, to learn, and to evolve. The universe has shown us that we are not alone, and now we must decide what we will do with this knowledge. Will we rise to meet this challenge and embrace the future? Or will we falter in the face of the unknown? The next steps are ours to take, and the future of humanity depends on how we choose to move forward.